Hi, welcome to Coder Dojo Virtual Edition. My name is Lori. If you've been with us through the fall sessions, you'll know that we've been developing our own website using HTML. The resulting website is very boring. It all has the same font, there is no color, and everything is aligned to the left. Today, we're going to introduce CSS, which will allow us to stylize the website that we've developed, adding color, highlighting certain areas, and generally making it more interesting for the reader. We will go back to HTML because there is so much more for us to learn. We will, however, intersperse our learning of HTML with our learning of CSS, going back and forth between the two as they are so closely integrated. You'll remember in our last session, we suggested that over the 2 weeks before this session was posted, we develop a website complete with all of the components that we've already learned, including an H1 and an H2 title, a couple of different paragraphs, a link to another website, an image, and then we'll take that website and stylize it today. So here is the website that I came up with. So this is the coding that I have done. You will know how to do all of this. Here's my table with the TH and TRs, tags, TD tag for data, and my link and my image. I did learn that to keep your image a size that is going to fit onto your page, even before we stylize, all you have to do is write width equals and a number of pixels in quotation marks, and then height equals a number of pixels in quotation marks. I just experimented with the number of pixels and came up with 200 width, 150 height. And I'm going to show you the resulting web page in a new window so that it's nice and big. And you can see, as we suggested, it's all very boring. So now we're going to go and do some background colors. We'll change the alignment of our image, make our table look more attractive using CSS. To begin with, we will have to use a style element. And the style element will go inside the head element. So you can see here we have the style tag, opening tag, and the style closing tag. Next, we'll have to enter a selector, which is the area that we want to style. In this example, we want to style the H1. So we're going to style one of my titles. Note that we're using curly brackets. In CSS, everything we do is in curly brackets. There are no angle brackets. So this is the code that we will need within the style element that we have nested under the head element. We will always start with a selector. So our selector here, as I said, is going to be the H1 section of the web page. Then a curly bracket. Now we want to indicate the property. So what is it that we want to style? In this case, I've chosen to style the background color of the H1 line. So we say background hyphen color. It's important to note that the word color is using the American spelling of the word. It's always C-O-L-O-R, and it will not work if you use the Canadian spelling C-O-L-O-U-R. So that's something to be careful of. So we have our selector, the H1 element. Our property, we want to change the background color of our H1 element. Always follow the property with a colon. Then going to identify the value we want to put on the property. I've chosen the color purple. We simply write the color as we know it. And for all basic colors, we simply use the word. After the value, we must put a semicolon and then our curly bracket. This is known as the CSS rule. So selector, curly bracket, property, colon, the value, semicolon, and curly bracket. Let's go and apply this CSS rule to my website. Let's apply this CSS rule that we just learned. We're going to enter a style tag. Note I'm in the head section. And as soon as I enter a style tag, Glitch is going to do the closing tag. So I'm just going to put that down here. Next, we know we need to enter our selector. We want to style our H1 line. Our selector is followed by a curly bracket. Notice Glitch puts in the ending curly bracket. Inside here, we now want to indicate our property. We talked about making our property background hyphen color. Note the American spelling, followed by a colon. Next, we need to indicate our value. I selected purple. It has to be followed by a semicolon and then our curly bracket. And you can see over on this side, that's exactly what's happened. We now have the background color of our H1 line, purple. To practice, I'm going to try the exact same thing on my H2 line with a different color. What I'm going to do is copy that line. I'm going to paste it and just change it from H1 to H2, not H12, H2, and I'm going to change my color to green. I have two H2 lines, which I didn't even realize. I'm going to change this line here to an H3. Change the closing tag as well, H3. And now I'm going to copy and paste something new for my H3 line as well. Now we'll call this one H3. I think we'll do yellow. Clearly I have two H3 titles, so I'm going to make this one an H4, It's the nice thing about Glitch. It brings your mistakes up very clearly. Here we are. And here's the other H4. And we're going to now, we've got no color on H4. Let's add some color to H4. I'm just saving time by copying and pasting my H1 tag that I did. So we have purple, green, yellow. Why not go with blue? And there's H1 to H4, all stylized in a different color. Now, I do know that we can use a wide variety of, no, we'll leave that one, a wide variety of color words. I can say light blue. There's no need for a hyphen here, simply light blue. So you can play around. I would like to try a lighter green color, so I'll try that. And there's a lighter green. I'd even like to try a lighter purple. As this is just our background colors, there is no light purple. So let's try pink. See if I like the look of that. Yeah, that's good. So more of the pastel shades here, nothing too bold for our background colors. There is one thing that I need to share with you before I leave you for this week, and that is after your image element, so image, SRC, you have your link. It is a requirement that following that quotation mark right here, we put an alt element. And what that is simply ALT equals, and then you call your picture something that seems appropriate. So my image is of a couple of people reading in a library. So I've called my image people reading. This is a requirement for accessibility purposes so that people will know if they cannot see or can for some reason not pull up the image file, they know that it is an image of people reading. I did not want to get too complicated when I was going through images, but it's now time for us to learn that every time we insert an image, we have to have an alt equals describing our image. That's it for this week. What I'd like to see happen is that you experiment with your website and put some background colors in it wherever you wish. As I've done, a lot of trial and error in getting this going, but you can see that we are getting started with making our website more attractive. In the next session, we will look at changing our font, size, and type, and our alignment within the web page as well.